What is good? Osiris here, stuck in the middle. Good morning. Saturday morning. Hope everybody's doing well. I got slavery on my mind, the topic of slavery and reparations, because spawned by the Daryl Davis guest appearance on Timcast. And they had a spirited discussion on reparations, which is a discussion that we need to have in this country. That's why the Timcast show is it's so valuable. There's no other show in the country where you could have had this discussion than Tim Pool that I know of. Because Daryl Davis was on with Joe Rogan, that discussion didn't happen, not like it did on Tim Pool's show. And what happened was the topic of reparations came up. And I'm not going to go too much into the Daryl Davis specifics, but people are talking about it. This morning, Tariq Nasheed tweeted about a new law that was passed at the state level in Hawaii. Lawmakers approved $600 million to help fix housing program for Native Hawaiians. And really, that's probably what I should have titled this video. I might retitle it after this. To catch the wave of the algorithm, you need some type of, that I've seen, you need some type of story to go with it. So they approved $600 million to help fix housing. Tariq Nasheed says when it comes to giving reparations to other groups, you don't hear nothing about studies or committees. You see dollar amounts. Okay, which is true. Japanese who were wrongly put in internment camps got reparations in '88 by Reagan. We know that there were deals made with Native American tribes. The big lesson of slavery, there's two lessons that I don't think we've learned, and I'm getting sick of hearing people like Tariq and others using reparations as a weapon instead of taking a lesson from it. Nicole Hannah-Jones wants you to take the lesson from slavery, specifically with America, starting at 1619, to use it as a weapon to bring down the country for you to hate the country. That's not the big lesson from slavery that I'm going to be teaching my children. The biggest takeaway from slavery is to not get enslaved. That's the first lesson. And that's a lesson of life being savage. Number one, don't get conquered. That's how life is. Slavery is as old as sex. We grew from cave people, cavemen and cave women. We were Neanderthals, literally hitting each other over the head with rocks. So when you needed stuff to be farmed back in the day, this is in the world. Forget about America. Slavery is way bigger than America. There's a reason why they want you to think about it starting in 1619. Slavery is old as anything in this world. There have been slaves in Europe and literally every part of the world there's been slavery. Because people said, I need this work done on this farm way before America. I need this work done here. And I've got a bigger rock than you. I'm stronger than you. So I'm going to make you do the work. I'm not going to pay you. So allegedly, the Uyghurs in China, that's what's happening to them. You're weaker, we're going to enslave you, and you're going to do this work. Maybe we'll give you $1. Maybe we won't give you anything. Maybe you're lucky to be alive. Do this work. That's life. Life is savage. The number one lesson is don't be enslaved. That's the number one lesson. There can't be a bigger takeaway than that. Don't get conquered. I'm tired of coddling this conversation to descendants of slaves in Black America. I'm not coddling you. Grow up. Learn how life works. Nothing is entitled to you. That's the number one lesson. And ain't ish gonna change until you learn that lesson. That first lesson. Don't get conquered. It's pertinent. Hopefully I have time to get to why it's pertinent here. The number two lesson from this is you only get in life what you have the power to get. So I can want $1 billion. I ain't going to get $1 billion because I don't have the power to get it. So you can want reparations all you want. You sound like fools. You don't have the power to get it. Focus on that. That would be smarter, wouldn't it? I'm not for reparations, just to be clear, but that's not even what this is about. If you want reparations, then Tariq, why aren't you focusing on the power you need to amass to get it? Because I'm not for reparations, but I'm also not for money going to Ukraine. But I'm not stopping that, am I? Because I don't have the power to. I haven't amassed the power to. And that's why I've aligned with people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, who are aligned with some things that I agree with. So hopefully I have the power to say in the next year or two, you don't get the money for these weapons. We know it's money laundering with these defense contractors and others and the big guy and all that stuff. So it doesn't matter if I'm not for money to Ukraine if I don't have the power to stop it. They're still passing the bills. So I need to focus on how do we stop it if that's a priority. If reparations are a priority for you, if you're not focusing on how to amass the power to stop it, you are an idiot. You are a fool. Because you didn't learn the first lesson. Don't get enslaved. The reason why that lesson is so important is we've been spoiled by the riches and the greatness of the country we're in right now, America. And we and Black Americans and others act like slavery was regardless of race historically. So we act like we can't be enslaved now. We can be enslaved. It won't look the same. We won't be in chains most likely. That's not even out of the question. But you need to look at it and need to start asking. Because, you go back to the 40 acres and a mule that was promised by General Sherman under Lincoln. Lincoln got assassinated. Andrew Johnson becomes president. A Southern Democrat becomes president and says, hell no, we're not giving you some of the best land in this country, 40 acres and a mule. Are you crazy? It was a Democrat that took that promise away. Ain't shit changed. Today, Democrats promising you reparations. Where are they? They got you with Ukraine flags in your bio talking about reparations. They got you focused on forcing people to inject an experimental drug or get fired, and you're worried about reparations? You don't even have the power to stop them from controlling you. Are you enslaved right now? You didn't learn from lesson number 1. That's what Nicole Hannah-Jones won't tell you because she's a part of enslaving you now. You're voting with the corporate Democrats, corporate GOP, and they play this game to say, hey, you've got to hate these other people, and they might actually have your interests in mind more than the Mitch McConnells, Nancy Pelosi's, Chuck Schumer's, etc. But those are who you are aligned with right now. Those are who you're voting for. You voted for a Dixiecrat as president currently. And you're talking to me about reparations, and Tariq, you're on here talking about what Hawaii got? Are you supposed to be a leader? You sound bitch-made, bruh. That's not strategy. That's whining like a little baby. What's your strategy? I don't need to hear you whining on Twitter about this person got this. You sound like my 5-year-old whining about his brother getting a toy that he didn't get. Where's the strategy? Cut the check isn't a strategy. You don't have the power to get reparations, whether I agree with it or not. You don't have the power to get it. So why are you even talking about it? You didn't learn about lesson number 1. So I'm going to end with this. You didn't learn lesson number 1, don't get enslaved. So you might be enslaved right now. It might not look like it did before. It might be more powerful because you don't even know it. And then most of the people enslaved are actually fighting for their slave owners in a different way to keep power over them. Manipulated by race. That is possible. You might want to figure that out first because you didn't learn the first lesson. And that goes to our whole country. We all, whether you're white, black, or anything else here, we can be enslaved. This ideology, in my opinion, shipped over from China, critical theory, has turned our country potentially into one big slave ship. That's what that has the potential for to happen. We're now in schools talking about we don't know what gender somebody is. We have a new press secretary, and we're not talking about her ability to communicate. We're talking about she's black, a woman, and LGBTQ. It's ridiculous. It's demeaning. And we're taking down statues of Thomas Jefferson from our true capital in New York. Not only black Americans, I think we all need to learn the lesson that we can all become enslaved. Don't let that happen. That's number one. I just wanted to get that rant out. I'm going to be out. I'll probably push back I scheduled a video at 10. I'll probably push that back. Victimhood, a couple of comments. Thanks for stopping by. Sunshine Cool Water says, when victimhood is currency, there will be a lot of counterfeiters. Bars. Did you make that up? Thanks for stopping by, Sunshine. I'm going to have to screenshot that. Are you a rapper or poet or something? That was crazy. Toozy Two Shoes, what's up? Haven't chatted in a while. Every voting season, Democrats are all in on reparations, and once voted in, you see next voting season. Man, if y'all voted for Biden in part because of this reparation discussion, man, we don't need to talk about reparations. We need to talk about like what's going on up here. I'm tired of coddling people with that mentality. You're a damn fool. You're stupid, ignorant. You got to break away. There's change. It's not the same type of slavery. Maybe slavery is the wrong thing to compare it to because that was brutal. I think they're both brutal in different ways. But if you're tied into this corporate Democrat Party when they talk about reparations and you haven't seen any results from that and that's your goal, you might need to rethink your strategy. You don't have the power to get it. So I just wanted to let that rant off my head. Thanks for stopping by. Let me know what you think. Take care.